Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans. Don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TRI's Weekend Frivolity. This is the Broiler Chicken Show. Of course, YouTube just totally kicked me out here just before I was actually Chris is driving the bus. Usually I like to see who's over there on YouTube. So give me a second here. I got to re-log in the whole thing. And that means I got to remember passwords. Oh, good luck. Somebody was saying today that we should bring out the GIMP. Is that how it goes? Bring out the GIMP. No. Bring out the rants. Hey, and my camera is blurry, is it? Oh, it looks like I'm relatively okay. I had to, let's see. Oh, yeah, I do look a little blurry. I don't know whether it's that focus a little bit better. I can always try and scooch in, but then I might lose my funny little green screen here. Anyway, welcome back to the frivolity. Yeah, it looks like we're good to go. Interestingly, awesome. Look at that, Chris, just like such a boss. I love working with Chris. I tell you, and actually, ironically enough, he's all worried about ChatGPT replacing him, but I don't think it would be almost impossible to replace somebody like Chris. It's just way too good. So don't expect your pink slip in the mail anytime soon, Chris. And of course, actually, it was interesting when we were writing up sort of the verbal summary of what we sort of saw happen this past week. Chris had used ChatGPT, and as soon as we got to the part where he had used ChatGPT, I started reading the lines, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this coming out of Klaus's ass or something? Because it sounded so propaganda, so manufactured, so, we better be politically correct. And if anything, that makes perfect sense. This whole ChatGPT shit is, it's basically going to turn us all into like mindless robots, and you have to just spout the party line. And frankly speaking, I don't think humans will be able to do that. I mean, any of you that have watched me over the past 5-10 years, do you think the Beamish is ever going to tout the party line? I would sooner grab a fucking AK-47 and like hit the streets and start civil war than change my attitude about freedom of speech. I mean, you all know how incredibly important simple freedoms like that previous generations, they sacrificed their lives for these rights. And assholes like fucking Billy Gates there are going to just try and slowly take all those rights away from us, Klaus's and Joey Diamonds and out of the world. So fuck them. It's critical that we keep our individuality, our human spirit. So there you go, Glass Insight. How's that? I said he said, bring out the GIMP. No, bring out the rants. There's a rant to start your broadcast, eh? Boom! Hey, and the good part about this, right, is if you just learn this stuff, if you just learn what I'm trying to teach you, we can make you so completely independent of any of the bullshit of all that Klaus crap and Joey Diamond who wants to turn you into a debt slave. I mean, look at this fun little thing here. All right, something about we better go buy W's. I mean, I didn't know what the fuck this thing was gonna do. But Brian, as soon as he sees this W, I gotta start getting interested. And look at that. I mean, of all the names, this is one of these defunct stable coins. That's a triple right now. Bang, just like that. Merry Christmas. So just for Pete's sake, people, learn what it is we're trying to teach you. And if you need help, consider joining our education program. If you need a warm, fuzzy environment to wrap yourself in so that you don't have some shiller telling you to come and buy the top of the market and chase like an idiot, well, come and join TRI. Our community is awesome. our education program is second to none. And there's no reason why each and every one of you can't do exactly this. No reason whatsoever. So DMAX asking, should we invest in China? How about China? Oh God, what a nightmare. So, and it'd be funny now that I have this on the screen here. I wouldn't be surprised if also it goes chung 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 right back down to the bottom. But I hate to tell you, folks, the W's, and now look at this. This is going to be like a weekly W, and now we can start drawing bombs. I mean, where the hell does this thing want to go? If we actually get a half decent head of steam behind us, this thing, I don't see any. I mean, I've said this repeatedly that Novogratz. I mean, remember him and his tattoo, right? I mean, he went absolutely all in on. I mean, you can't go more all in than what Novogratz did to his arm. I mean, it's going to be like a famous meme now, right? Novogratz. That's probably all you need to do is Novogratz tattoo. I'm sure I spelled that wrong. But let's see. There is Mr. Novogratz. Let's see. Come on. There you go. Even with glasses on, too. That's kind of funny. So, I mean, he went in hard. And my hunch is that he probably went to whoever's still left over at Luna and, the organization and said, hey, I'm still long and I want to turn a profit on this. I don't care if it takes 5 years. Just get your shit together, put this thing back on track, and I want to make it turn a profit here. So anyway, just for fun, a week or two ago, we have these Saturday club meetings. I was in the level 4 education program yesterday, so I didn't really get together with the gang, but like once every 2 weeks on Saturdays, we have like our little old ladies club. And we saw this thing Wing out here. We're like, yeah, what the hell? Let's go and buy some. So we're calling this our gold-plated VACA trade. And actually, I was really impressed. Don't know whether I can find it or not. But I actually did see a property in Portugal that was pretty cheap. And it was a little bit over an acre. About an acre, acre and a half. Tons of fruit trees. We could set up a whole TRI educational program, huge room that we could use as a communal workroom, and 3 bedrooms, and it stayed as of now. Had an old ruin on it that we could probably renovate, turn into like a half decent little cottage, throw up some yurts and stuff, and we're in business. So the VACA trade is it's still alive. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting, and that happened to be our although I don't know where the hell I put it. Or maybe I put it over here. Our market of note this past week. And I suppose the irony of it all is that now that I'm doing this all through these ledger and all this crap, the question really is how the hell do I actually take profits on this damn thing now? Although, what happened to the newsletter? Oh, there it is there. All right, there we go. Yeah, so, there's an old expression, actually, what we probably should have written on this, although, well, that's weird. Chris, did you know that comes up? That's got to be your template or something. Wow, that's bizarre. Huh. Wonder what the hell that is. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know whether I mean it doesn't even link to the. Oh yeah, there it is. The UST. Is that it? That it? No, is that the same thing? That's like before it puked out, eh? So anyway, maybe you could tinker around with that to see whether we can have it just a simple chart or something. So like when somebody gets this newsletter and when they click on this, it'll take them to that link, right? Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could give you the link. Why don't I give you the link? Because you can see there is the link down here. If you see down here, you can see there's the link that it sends you to. So maybe what you can do is I'll just give you the link to not that one. Damn key reversals. This one over here, because that's kind of what I wanted them to see. So let's go copy link. See if that works. Yeah, maybe mess around with that. And if you can get it to work, so it pulls up that chart, then I mean, I don't even know if that'll even work. Maybe I have to do like, all right, well, what the hell? If you get Rarish's old link, suck it. Just kidding. Don't sue. He said suck it on air. He's being harassing. $100 million lawsuit. Anyway, awfully, like sort of following on our newsletter, which is what I'm supposed to be doing here. Once upon a time in a land far, far away. Breadth, interestingly enough, and I don't like what I'm seeing now here out of the market. The market looks really, really dangerous. Been saying that a few weeks now. I just, oh, actually, you know what? Did I? Oh, I don't even have that on here. What a knucklehead. Boy, this is catching with my pants down or what, eh? I think this is the one that I like to use. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, that's what I like to have sort of like default. I don't know why I don't have this one to open. But I'm not really liking what I'm seeing out of crypto here. This is starting to look a little bothersome, especially if we look at maybe something like the total market cap. If we'll go like daily, kind of looking nosebleedy. I mean, I've been saying this for a while, so I probably sound like a broken record. I suppose probably upside objectives are probably something like A to B, and then clone that. And C to D. So yeah, we could go, I guess, a bit further. There's 877s up there, so maybe there's like one more hurrah. Be interesting to see whether we had like some horrific spike up into this level, though. Let's see if we change this to like a bar chart, whether that makes any difference. No, all right. So yeah, maybe one more push up top. I will say that also too, it looks like this price gap up here really could use filling in. Maybe that's sort of like what happens on the actual announcement of the ETFs and all that. And actually, there was a really interesting development here, of course, over the past couple of days, which we'll talk about. Actually, I do kind of like that image there to there. Notice 4.669 lined up nicely. So 877 is way up there. That's a tough one. Anyway, I wanted to show Chris, but I couldn't show him earlier. I thought there was a really interesting YouTube video. This guy's always good for good education in this space. The only problem is I couldn't find his video to show Chris today. Where is it? You're around here somewhere. Yeah, I thought I remember it was all around here. It's so sad that couple that died on the Canadian border, right? And everybody was so quick to go, "Oh, it's terrorists! It's terrorists! That's it! It's terrorism! It's terror!" No, it isn't. It's just a couple that unfortunately lost control of their car. Things went absolutely haywire there on the Canadian-U.S. border there last week. Oh, I can't find it. Huh. Let's see. How am I going to do this? Because it was a really good video. I really think it's worth mentioning to you. This gentleman, he does some pretty good research in the space, and of course, this is all about CZ and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's relatively important. So let's see if I can find it here for you. Oh, interesting. So now he's got the headline for his video is "They're lying to you about Bitcoin." Uh-oh, that's not good. But where is Come on, you can do it. I know it's around here somewhere. I'm sorry, everybody. I know you're all like, okay, this guy's getting pretty boring. This gentleman here, this is his name, Coin Bureau. Anyway, very respected in the crypto community. He does very in-depth analysis and reviews. And he did a video over the weekend about the settlement. And actually, I thought it was very educational in that, although I have no idea where the hell it is now. In that he broke apart the whole sort of CZ settlement. And I guess this was it here. Truth about Bitcoin settlement and what it means for crypto. I think this is probably a pretty good video for everybody to watch. If this is the one that I did watch here earlier on. And it's fascinating, like just the little subtleties of our society. Grandma here, she purposefully mispronounced Binance, and I think she actually was like told to do that specifically because I get the impression that the powers that be in the United States, the 1%, Black Rocks and all that crap, they really want crypto to fly here, but they just needed to get CZ and get Binance and get all these unregulated offshore exchanges out of the US so that they have a complete and utter monopoly in this space. And the way that they just brush this under the carpet as quickly and as silently, and the way they did this settlement, like it's a really good article that he did. So I am going to post this in the TRI Lounge. And I would strongly suggest that all of you watch it. It's very educational. A number of interesting points made. I mean, I would just simply say probably the biggest thing that jumped out at me out of all of that was the fact that CZ never admitted to fraud, and he never admitted to doing things like commingling customers' assets with Binance assets, which is, of course, majorly against the law. And in a weird sort of way, this settlement and actually the characters that you see on the stage, they have excluded one party in particular here, the SEC. And I think they did that on purpose. Like they've got the Department of Justice, the Department of Treasury, they got like fucking IRS and everybody, but they do not, they've got like the futures trading commission people. But the one group that they do not have on stage here, and they did not make any reference to whatsoever, was the SEC. And this whole settlement, everything about it was to basically put this Binance situation, or what did fucking Granny? I mean, I couldn't believe it, Granny. And you know that she did this on purpose. Like she called Binance like Binance or something like that, like repeatedly. She did it on purpose. And I think there was a reason why, is because they really didn't want this to resonate. They don't want the public to remember this story. I think they want this story buried as quickly as possible and just move on. And so it's interesting. See, like I said, CZ, yes, the headline is like a $4 billion settlement or something crazy like that, but that's not coming out of CZ's pockets. That's coming out of Binance. Binance still stays in business. What's really even more interesting is that there's actually a Binance USA company doesn't even get affected by any of this. That still operates business as usual. And CZ himself not admitting any fraud or any money laundering. It's interesting how the headlines all had money laundering there, but you listen to this interview with this gentleman. I still don't know what his name is. Somebody knows what his name is. This British guy at this Corn Bureau. He's saying that basically CZ got off basically scot-free. I think it was like $100 million or 150 million, I think it was. out of his pocket, and how many Bitcoins is that at $30,000 a Bitcoin? That's only what, a few hundred Bitcoins? That's peanuts. Guy, there you go, Philson. Philson says name is Guy. So hello, Guy. That is a great job. And if anything, what I like to do, and I don't know whether I'm allowed to or not, I probably get into trouble for it. But I like to point out people that I think actually have a half decent head on their shoulders, in the sort of YouTube space. And I think Guy Smiley, is that what we'll call him? If you were a 1970s North American, you'd know who Guy Smiley is, but probably most of you have no idea who Guy Smiley is. Anyway, I like to call out good work and good videos and stuff to watch. So anyway, that's what I'm saying today. And I guess the whole point, the reason why I'm going down this rabbit hole is, based on our newsletter. Obviously, one of the very large events this past week was Mr. CZ and this settlement. But what's really interesting is what he pled guilty to was not following the rules of reporting. That's what he pled guilty to. And so fucking what? I mean, everybody breaks the rules every once in a while, but he did not plead guilty to fraud, which is actually outright lying. What he pled guilty to was, like the U.S., of course, all the fucking whistle. No, that's not the right word. Gatekeepers, I think that's what they call it. This whole money laundering and stuff. It's just the 1% trying to keep tabs on all of our money and making sure that we, stay on the up and up and the straight and narrow and all that, and pay all our taxes and don't do anything to screw the 1%'s fucking monopoly on our society over. Whew. I ran out of air in my lungs to get that rant out. So anyway, one of the big headlines here, of course, this past week, and anybody who's involved in crypto, you'd have to live under a rock to not know what's going on here. But the CZ settlement, I have to say, it was quite interesting because in some of our recent newsletters, we've been kind of talking about, it sure feels like these U.S. regulators and stuff are kind of falling asleep. And they're kind of disappearing, and sure enough, out they come. And what I do find fascinating is that they're trying as hard as they can. Clearly, there's an agenda here. Clearly, there is. But they're trying as desperately as they can to keep the SEC out of this entire conversation. Also, too, a guy did mention, which I thought was interesting, that the people that did come up with this settlement are actually the people in the U.S. government that are actually relatively crypto friendly. Because keep in mind, you think that Gensler guy and the SEC, do you think they're crypto friendly? I think they hate crypto more than life itself. So that's also another thing that sort of jumped out at me from that, is that they quickly slap this pig with the prettiest lipstick as possible, get the settlement done. Now what's his face, that SBF doofus, he's history. So nobody's really gonna. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if history just quietly forgets about him. Interesting how, yeah. So MS, you noticed that too, eh? What a stupid cocksucking. Oh boy, I better not. One of these days, all this fucking swearing and stuff is going to come back to haunt me. Did I mention that this video is not made for children? We did get the monetization back, so if you want to throw us a couple rounds, we always appreciate that. But these videos are definitely not made. Isn't that funny? Look what comes up on the page now, just instantly as I say that. Now would be a good time to insert an advertisement. YouTube. And Google says, now would be a good time to pay Google. Anyway, so, that's got to be your big headline for this past week. Of course, CZ settling with the regulators. And I've said this repeatedly, and I think that to me, this seems blatantly obvious. It's clearly as plain as day. Mr. Fink wants to basically have a monopoly on crypto with the U.S. audience. He can't really mandate like China or Russia or even Germany or any real overseas players, but they can make damn sure they any American that's involved in this space, they own them hook, line, and sinker. And my hunch is that there are regulatory bodies in the various different countries and stuff that are owned by sort of the think puppets within those countries, that will basically toe the party line. So to me, this has 1%. We are defending our monopoly status. I do believe that probably Fink has a fairly large vested interest in Coinbase, and they are going to be using Coinbase to carry out their monopoly sort of tactics, or whatever you will, in North America. It is interesting how the regulators recently went after Kraken to a certain degree. I always got the impression that Kraken had jumped through all the hoops and was playing ball, but you saw what I was actually pretty surprised last week to hear that Trex actually just completely just shut itself down. Even the overseas, they obviously people are chasing them around the world. They just do not want that Bitrex bill to be back in business. So anyway, interesting. Also, too, and I wonder if this might be one reason why our coin of note this particular week is taking off here. I also noticed in that video, again, this is a very educational video by Guy and his Coin Bureau team. I noticed that they had said that one big thing about CZ is, of course, he said he had like 99% of his net worth. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's less. I don't know. In this BNB coin. And so as a result, and I don't even know what BNB is doing, but Guy was actually saying there that, this might actually be bullish of BNB. Doesn't really seem to be reflecting anything here right now on this thing. And, I don't even know. Also, too, there's lots of talk in his video there about the fate of USDT. And I've been wondering, USDT Tether has been kind of flying under the radar screen. As if you've been in this crypto space long enough, you know that as long as Tether's been around, there's been controversy around it. So I'm actually a little surprised that we haven't heard anything out of the whole Tether FUD recently. I don't know how Mr. Novogratz plays into all of this and the whole Luna team, but from what I understand, the Luna people, they're still sort of hard at work trying to develop their platform. And as I said, Mr. Novogratz doesn't want to take a loss. I took a total punt on this. I mean, it was $300. Who cares? Let's have some fun trading. But hell, if they take this thing back to parity, then my $300 turns into like 20 G's. There's parity right up there. I don't know whether they're going to do it or not, but it is interesting just for fun. And actually, I don't even know if that's the case. Let's see. Well, maybe. This bar here finished up here, and this bar here opened here. So if we were doing bar charts, where's bar chart? There we are. That technically actually is a gap right there, although we do have that price action there that filled that in there. Nothing on the line chart. I was kind of thinking maybe there would be a price gap up here. I'm not quite sure how I would draw that out. I don't think that's a price gap, but anyway, it is interesting how this bar finished up here, and then the next trade on this thing, it finished down. It was here. Probably if we looked at like lower time frame chart through that price action, you'd probably see the gap in there somewhere. But anyway, is that a harbinger? I don't know. This is kind of it's and if anything, this is the way that I like to play the market, is let's just have some fun. $300 is $300 going to be really that much of a dent out of my pocket? If this thing goes back to parity, that $300 turns into 21 G's. And I said that if that happens, then we're going to go back to Portugal. And we even now have a place that looks pretty darn attractive. If fingers crossed, if everything works, I might even just go buy the place because it's a pretty good price. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I would go back to Portugal. I will buy a cow. We will barbecue it. We will dip it in gold, and we will sit and eat our gold-plated vodka, all on Mr. Novogratz' dime. Thank you very much, Mr. Novogratz. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. Anyway, there's your fun little chart of note. I don't know whether these two stories are actually connected or not. It would be interesting to see over time whether they are. I will say that I'm a little bit, well, not a little bit. I've been talking about this way for quite a while now. It's probably sounding like a broken record, but where are we here? I guess we'll go off of this one. We look at the broader crypto market, seeing a bit of red. Actually, it'd be interesting to see whether these bear ETFs, or not ETFs, but bear proxies are starting to bottom out. Nothing really there yet. Ooh, ETH might have something going here. And if you were a trader, actually, this is a really good analogy of a trader's life. You guys all know reload zones, so certainly don't need to teach you that on this channel now. I've been doing this so long, you probably hear me say this stuff in your sleep. Yep, there you go. So, this isn't a bad example that if you are a risk taker in the marketplace, kind of like my fun little Luna bet there. If you took like $300, what the hell's the damn box? There it is. $300 and just went and bought a proxy on this in reload zones. Will risk to break to new lows. I mean, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. But usually, if market's going to turn against the bottom of a recent range, this is where it'll often turn. That is a cute little inside bar. You might have even used that little inside bar as your trade entry. Risk to a break of new lows. Yeah, you never know. It's a crazy market. Is there any money to be made on this thing if crypto has to have a bit of a pullback here in December, getting ready for tax loss selling season? It's a trader's life. This kind of well, anyway. But I did kind of notice that some of the darlings, when I woke up this morning, I saw some pretty big down moves. And I think that you will probably be able to mark that this move has come to an end when one very distinct letter of the alphabet starts showing on the price charts. And you all know this. Let's see if any of you over on YouTube can answer the question. It's really, really simple. And ironically enough, our lives as traders, we're not supposed to overthink this stuff. Yeah, look at that. There goes Luna. Up 18% on the day. Actually, this is another one that Sjord likes, the A-Cash. Look at that son of a bitch go. So I said, as long as we keep seeing these markets move to new highs, then we're good to go. But if we start seeing things like M's, and thank you, Richard, and thank you, Golden Burks, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, as long as we keep seeing this kind of price action, then there is no top in the market. But I did notice some of our darlings of late, and some of these names, oh my goodness, have they done well. They're starting to look a little Emmy. Actually, interesting. Adam, I think this is a name that, well, even that. Notice here, even this price action, we're not breaking out through these highs here. That's a little suspicious. And some of these names, like I said just a moment ago, they're looking outright dangerous right now. Like some of Sjord's darlings. And I mean, should we expect this market to pull back here a little bit, maybe from these levels? Come on, everybody. I hate when people just get like there's a commercial, and I always see it in the stupid YouTube ads, right? Or I don't know, it's YouTube or just regular TV. Your nose can become blind to smells. You become smell blind or something like that. I mean, you got to look at a chart like that, and you got to go, well, this thing is not going to go up forever. I mean, theoretically, a healthy trend line is a 45-degree angle. Let's just see where a 45-degree angle comes in here. Okay, well, that's not terrible. But you can see this thing could easily come down to, what's that, 3.5? And we're at 4.25 right now. I mean, easily just to get back to this 45-degree angle. And I don't even know if I have my scales correct here or not. But, when we start doing this kind of price action, just like straight up, and this is a really handy sort of keep you honest tool for you to use. That if you start, just drawing a simple 45-degree angle, and just if you start seeing price moving away from the 45-degree angle in earnest, well, I mean, for God's sakes, don't chase all that kind of stuff. And if you actually see, if you're a bull, because remember we had this big W, and you see the market underneath the 45-degree angle and then start putting in like fractals and stuff, you can start thinking about going long. So up top here, and then we hit this big fog and bomb level here. But to be like, well, this thing's just going to continue on endlessly, it's actually a bit naive. And then there's a couple, yeah, like this does not look encouraging to me. I do not go, if this thing goes and M's out here, it's sending us a major warning sign. So just be careful here, folks. And of course, same sort of thing. Drawing your 45-degree angle. Where is that 45-degree angle? It is right there. Off of the low. And something like that. So we could very easily see this thing down, confirm the double top, the M top, probably come into this tail right here, swim around here, maybe get everybody all freaked out to the bear side. If anything, this is a good example where probably what this thing does is it goes to the other side of this trend line below the 45-degree angle. And then if you get any buy setups, at least then you're not chasing a ridiculously overbought market. Wow. Interesting. So it just wants to barely come back to that level. I would not, and then unfortunately, what this actually looks like to me is this looks like if this is going to be a trend continuation trade, then what we really should do is draw a trend line off of these peaks like so. And let's see if you guys can finish my thought here. This market is not a bull until what happens on the other side of this trend line? Anyone? Thank you, Richard. Richard's got his I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and I'm ready to do this thing attitude on today. So A, B, C, D, somewhere down into there. Right, but we're gonna have to break above this, then put in a W, and away we go. And you should look at this and go, well, that sounds to me like that's one of that Beamish guy's bot setups. Where he goes like, has to go 33, but no more than 66. And then if we get 3 higher lows, then he wants to buy. And we go something along those lines and then flip that around because 9 times out of 10 it's backwards, and there you go. So believe it or not, this thing could actually even come in all the way up there. No idea where this ultimate floor comes in. I just did the AB equals CD kind of thing. But the point here is that, if this M actually does confirm, then that's a confirmed downtrend line. And really, if this M does come in, then we should do things like draw fog and bombs going to the downside. So that's like boom there. And notice that's right up against Mountain Man. And that would, if this actually M does confirm and we break down here, that would bust the trend continuation trade setup. But it might mean that we actually have to draw it against that low. And that's interesting. So notice 66%, there's 61.8 off of this whole range. Fog and bombs right in there. So, if we did come down here, and maybe what happens is this has to look something like, and here, then up, then like that, and away you go, or something like that, right? So, point being that coming, and this is what really bothers me about this market right now, is, I mean, how do I say this so that you all go, well, duh, and then you try and remember it. So like, yeah, I can't. Like this little UST thing that I bought. I mean, you tell me. I think it was UST, wasn't it? Something like that. Yeah, that thing right there. Jesus Christ, look at that. Can I? There you go. That's probably the absolute best way to describe it. Is we are the and actually interestingly enough, it's just the national, eh? So because that was back in the days when the Americans didn't even think that there was anything. But and actually that's the same date reference as that other reference that I gave you earlier this morning. What was that? There you go. And Matador. See, this is how quick our lounge is. Like they're already the Matador already put in International Brotherhood for W lovers. Anyway, I was going to just pull up the National Association of W Lovers. And they even have a song too, of all things. It's hilarious. So, the point here is that if you want to make money at this game, for God's sakes, you can't come in and buy that there. You just can't do that. You're just, and I've said this repeatedly, and this is the value of TA is anybody who actually has gone through our education program or even watched all our videos and taken tons and tons of notes, well, you can see where the W is. It's right there. It's really, really obvious. And of course, you saw that other chart I just had up on the screen. That's basically exactly where I'm long. So at the very least, what I really do is I just eat my own cooking. Everything that I teach you in the education programs, I try and do on a daily basis. But do we have any business thinking about coming in and buying this thing here? And it's an unequivocal no. You're an idiot if you come in and buy that there. That's just asking for trouble. And so this is my sort of commentary about Bitcoin right now. Is I can't, with a straight conscience, a good conscience, a healthy conscience, a non-shill. You know what? I went and I had lunch with one, two, three, four TRIers. One guy who actually used to do videos with me, and it was really, really nice seeing him. Why we didn't get any pictures, I have no fucking clue. So pissed off at myself. That was the one thing that we just completely forgot to do. But anyway, and it almost brought me to tears because all four of them were unequivocal. Brian, you're like one of the most honest guys in this space. Yeah, you've got a colorful mouth and language. Yeah, you are definitely opinionated about how the 1% and the oligarchs fuck us all over. There's no questioning that. Yeah, you are definitely going to get yourself into trouble connecting the oligarchs and our democratically elected politicians and the total crookery of our society. But at least you're honest and you don't try and shill products that you actually are taking the other side of the trade, i.e., maybe you did like a really classic example in this space, the crypto space, is pre-mining a coin and then shilling it to the people that, hey, get rich, you if you buy our coin, because of all this wonderful story, this story, that story, this story, that story. But it turns out you're actually selling the pre-mined coins to the audience, which is such a tragic shame about this space. And it's why all these regulators have come and shit on this basis. I hate to say it, folks, but human beings are nasty species. They're nasty, nasty species. Cocksucking evil fuckers. One thing that surprises me is where is that? And remember, we were supposed to mention his name constantly. Uh, and he was it's interesting how you go FTX and only this doofus comes up. But where is the poker guy? This asshole. What's ever happened to him? Thank you, Matador. Is that you also posting that? Why isn't he going to jail? Why don't we hear anything about him? Like, this is how evil this crypto space is. Because I think, sadly, this guy, he was a pigeon. This guy, they just started to talk sweet to him. He probably was like a computer nerd for his entire life and was never popular. But all of a sudden, these guys, knowing that they got a fucking golden ticket, um, they basically they sweet talked him into actually believing his bullshit. Where, hey, I could just wear a t-shirt and jeans. Yeah, there you are, that guy, chief crook officer. Should be. And interesting, like this MS person is like, who is that? So isn't that incredible that you don't even know this asshole, and yet he's probably more culpable than him? This guy's just a dumb idiot that actually believed half his bullshit. This guy's the actual criminal behind the whole thing, and yet not a single mention about him. And that really, really disturbs me about this stupid human species. Just fucking evil as evil can get. So don't be surprised that, these regulators are coming in and shitting on this space. I do believe that some regulators actually have a conscience and they actually want to try and do the right thing. And this crypto space, I mean, come on, everybody. And the sad thing is, we don't even have our guy here who does this. But when I say, hey, 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 you know who I'm talking about? Or how about even better? Aren't we all supposed to be living in Mobies right now? Anybody know what the fuck a Moby is? You probably don't even know what a Moby is. Interesting how when I Google, and this isn't even Google, it's probably why, because these guys suck. But there's Google, and you Google in Moby, and I don't see a single reference. But we're all supposed to be living in Mobies right now. And the thing is probably, I mean, this is how long I've been in the crypto space, is that this was one of the first scams that when I came into this space. So there's your Moby. We're all supposed to be living in these things right now. And this was all about Archcoin. Yeah, there's Arch right there. Of course, total scam. Thing went zooming straight up to the moon and then came crashing right back down and then went to zero. So yeah, I hope you all understand, for the record, it's an unregulated space. Unregulated spaces have a really nasty habit of attracting really nasty people, whether it be Archcoin. Like, I don't know whether you and then I mean, we just go through them. BitConnect, this clown, that was the hey, hey, hey. I mean, it's just total fucking fraud, just ridiculous. FTX, I mean, this is about as fraud gets, but fascinating how this jerk is going to totally get away with this. This guy should serve time. Why is he not serving time? Why is there no talk about a trial? Why has everything just been dumped on this guy's head? Something stinks about this terribly, like really, really bad. Oh, well, what can you do? What I do find interesting, and like I said, and we kind of somebody had pointed out there in the lounge, and pointed it out in the YouTube video. Something also really stinks about the way Grandma was pronouncing Binance there. Like, she was doing that on purpose. Somebody specifically told her. The whole fucking thing stinks. I mean, it just absolutely stinks. But that's capitalism for you. If you want to participate in this game, and give me some feedback here, all 62 of you, and if you are enjoying the rant, could you please hit the like button, maybe subscribe to our channel, and then that way we can try and get more sort of public. But do you appreciate me just being very candid with you about what this really is and what this space is really about? All right. My partner in crime here, ironically enough. Mind you, we're not doing anything criminal. That's the irony of it all. We're the most honest people in this space. I mean, there's nothing criminal about what we do here at all, except for the fact that I'm gonna get sued by like this dickhead here. I wouldn't be surprised if he sues me for defamation of character. That's the kind of trouble that I'm gonna get myself into. Anyway, moving on. Chris just said that he enjoys the honesty, and I think that's the most important thing. That's the most truest thing I can possibly give all of you people. Is I'm honest with you. I I this is venture capital. I mean, I'd just be curious. Oh, interesting. We only got one person to like this video. There's 65 people watching. And I guess a lot of people are just like, nah, I could take it or leave it. There's like, well, I was going to say something profound there and I got distracted. Oh, well, it's gone. All right. So back to the newsletter. Past week's economics. It's interesting how we had that eclipse cycle and the US stock market came out of that eclipse cycle just in full on rally mode. And it's just been booming higher here. Breadth of the market, like I said, if anything, this looks right because things just went zooming up there. And you can't when the breadth indicator looks like this. Yeah, there you go. Well, I mean, yeah. All right. Oh, look at that. We got a couple more likes. So thank you, people. All right. When the breadth indicator looks like this, what it's really telling you, and then also too, we had it. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. If you can't respect this information, then there's not really much I can do to help you. But the about a week or so ago, I don't know where it is. There it is. Look at this reading on the histogram out of the crypto market. That is clearly telling you that if you hadn't bought, you've missed the boat. And like I said, and you see that's what date was that? That was the 6th or something, wasn't it? Yeah, 6 right there. So if we go back to the price charts, where should we do this? I'm actually just thinking like these things. Like Sjord's name. Where is the 6th here? So, well, that's not there. That's there. I mean, you can see where the breakout is. If you weren't already long, I think you missed the trade. There are others like the 6th is up here. We were buying back here. They say hello. By the time we got to the 6th, this thing's already done it. It's over here. You're supposed to be long from down here. So when the breadth indicator looks like this, what it's really telling you is you just got to cool your jets. Oh, where did the newsletter go? Is this it? Yeah, there we are. You got to just cool your jets. You got to wait for the W's to start coming back in. And what's really interesting about this is the insane volatility. And I do think that somebody's artificially injecting a lot of volatility into the Bitcoin price right now. It feels, and this is just coming from a guy who's done this for like 20, 30 years, and I've been doing this a fucking long time. It just feels as though somebody is trying to wash as many weak hands out of the market as possible. We're not really Ming out. Notice how close they came to registering an M here, but nope, no M. And then they went up and they broke it to new highs. Now, if you're really slick and you fancy yourself a really slick trader, well, you'd notice that that's a bit of a railroad tracks, and this is a 3-bar fractal. So you could have sold that and made some good money on the dump. This is an inside bar, and this is actually a double bottom. It's actually a triple bottom right there. You could have made some money off of that. You could, I suppose, have shorted that. This is a double bottom down in here, and that also is an inside bar. So you could be range, oh, nice little inside bar failure. That's also a double top right there. So you could be range trading this, but I'll tell you, that's damn difficult. I would imagine that probably most of the people watching this video, that's beyond your skill set. Hell, it's even beyond my skill set if I'm just doing this on a haphazard basis. There was a nice railroad tracks, like I like to call those tweezer tops. Sell signal that just fired there, and the market's working its way lower. But notice how big these swings are: 8.5%, 8%, 8.5%, 6.5%. I mean, these moves, they're not normal, for lack of a better term. And it just seems to me that this is this sort of fingerprint that we are at a pretty important level up top here. You don't really see it on the weekly charts, but there is the 13 EMA. That's the fast moving average. And it's sitting right now at 32. Here we are at 37. So that's like 15% lower than where we are right now. They can literally just, and they are, this is a weekly price chart. You can see how big these weekly candles are. They're just like, it's almost like they're just washing the market back and forth. Almost 9% candle. And it's just up, down. Look at this. I mean, just there. That's a 10% candle. 10%. When was the last time you saw Microsoft move $35 in 1 week? I mean, yeah. And this candle here in particular, right? 8.5% candle, just 1 week. This is ridiculous. And it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just driving you crazy. It hasn't broken down here yet, but as my comment here was, and this is the same comment that I had for this week's write-up, is there's not a heck of a lot of change to this picture. Nothing has really changed. They've made a higher high, so higher highs and higher lows defines a bull market. But at the same time, too, I mean, you can't say that we're cheap. And in fact, you can actually, we can't say it on a weekly basis, but you can see Willie is starting to climb up there. We're at minus 28 on Willie on the weekly price charts. If that gets to minus 20, you can see get up into this minus 20 area, and then the market just can't go any further. Get up into this minus 20 area, minus 19 there, and the market just can't go any further. It has to take a pause. So we're probably closer to a top than we are some sort of bottom. But at the same time, too, markets can remain illogical far longer than any of us can remain solvent. So I wouldn't get into the business of calling tops here until you start seeing things like Willie being stupid, M's in RSI, M's in Williams percentage R, M's in MACD, some actual serious selling volume. And we just don't see any of that just yet. So as a result, the way I've described this for the site, and I've seen this repeatedly in my career, is this is what they call the long, slow grind of death, where it just grinds higher and higher and higher. And usually, I mean, it doesn't always happen. And you notice we just broke to new highs again. But usually these moves end in some sort of horrendous blow off top. And my hunch is that the day of the ETF announcements is probably that day. And then also, too, if we look at this image, you can see fog and bombs to the upside. I do like this as a target, that 877, that's 44,000 area. If we circle back and we say, well, what were those weekly objectives that we've seen floating out there a while now? 50% of the entire trading range, 42,000. 2.618 Foggenbaum chaos theory target following this W, which was a confirmed W, higher lows and higher highs. That's 42,000. This wick right up in here, a whole bunch of trap bears that would love to get released. We're going to start seeing some actual sellers come out of the woodwork and actually say, phew, get me off of that damn couch. I'm sick of sleeping on the couch. That's up in that area as well. And then if we think sort of like flagpole, think of this distance from the bottom up into this as the pole, right? So there's your flag pole. And then this is your flag waving in the breeze. And so the flag's resolution is really a harmonic. AB equals CD. It also takes us up into that 41, 42,000. The interesting thing with AB equals CDs is sometimes they can actually turn into what are called alt AB equals CDs. And so this is why when I ever do the bot setup, I always throw the alt ABCD levels on there, because sometimes if we get into an absolute circle jerk orgy and the kids are just going absolutely apeshit crazy for this, you might just see that they do that. So you might just see that they go crazy. That is Foggenbaum. That's not what I wanted. Where? Oh my goodness, too many lines. Where did I put that? There it is there. All right, so let's pick that up. And we will place that right over there. There we go. All right, so there is the AB equals CD level, but believe it or not, these two levels are actually perfectly realistic in alt ABCD land. 127 is 44, 45, beg your pardon, better part of 46. And remember when we looked at this image, that 877 there is 45. So that's up in that area as well. And then if things go absolutely haywire, notice this will be interesting because actually Bitcoin did this in years gone by. I'll see if I can show you that in a second. But we could actually put on, I don't know whether I can do this. Let's see what happens. Yeah, good old Mountain Man, 61.8. There's no reason why Bitcoin can't go zooming all the way up into here. Tag 61.8, tag this trend line, and then reverse. I mean, this is why I always say don't get into the business of predicting what's going to happen. Just go with the chalk marks, follow the chalk marks. Right now, we're still pointing up. So I'm certain I don't think it's a good place to come in on the buy side because at the same time, too, key support here right now is these moving averages. And this trend line here, which is about a good $5,000-$7,000 lower than where we are. So the risks are actually kind of, and this is what I think I wrote up, was that basically it's a coin toss. Yeah, we could go $5,000-$10,000 higher. Yeah, we could go $5,000-$10,000 lower. And I can't take trades like that based on that premise. You should be long. And, the W's. I remember last November when we were barking about Litecoin and stuff. And that's when we did the do you have your shit together? Get your shit together. Take the goddamn educational program. Learn how to run a small business of trading. And I'm also hearing, too, that a lot of people are coming out with, hey, take my course. It's free. But what we teach in our education program isn't, oh, well, use this one trade setup and you'll make money all the time. Or, don't put more than 1% of your portfolio into a trade, and that's your risk management. What we teach you is how to build and manage a small business of trading. So it's kind of apples and oranges compared to any other education program that I see out there. The only guy that actually really holds a candle to it, and it's a guy that I make reference to all the time in our education program, is good old Ray Burchett's IDT, Intuitive Development for Traders program for futures traders. And I don't even know if he's even still out there. I haven't seen him on Top Step in forever. That's Mr. Ray Burchett and his 38.2, talking to you about all the crap that you have to do if you actually want to run a half decent business of trading, versus just, use this squiggly line theory, you'll make money, use that squiggly line theory. I mean, there's a million different ways to trade. What we really need to do in the education program when we go out of our way is to try and figure out what type of risk taker you are. And then we actually build the whole plan around who you are and your individual needs. So anyway, that's the whole side. And for whatever it's worth, we might as well do a shameless plug while we're here. Don't buy anything that this guy's associated with unless you're getting it on the ground floor or you're just going to get fucked by him. Wait a minute. That's not the conversation. Conversation is we have Black Friday deals. And of course, it's no longer, you know, what's really interesting though, it's kind of scary. I watched this guy's YouTube video through the weekend, and this was quite shocking. This gentleman here going on Black Fridays. I mean, and I honestly think that this whole Jupiter Saturn cross, this whole 6 different celestial events once in a million years, this whole great reset. I'm telling you, I think our whole society, the whole fabric of our society is changing here. And Black Friday, which kind of sort of started in a weird sort of way, I guess about 20 years ago or so. I think it's dead. I think this concept is ancient history. And this guy here, he just went through a whole bunch of shopping malls. You can find him on YouTube, no big deal. And he was just going through all these stores, and you can see all the Black Friday, clearance this, clearance that, save money here, save money there, Black Friday this, and there's nobody in these malls. Nobody. He went to like car dealerships. Nobody. The places are like literally empty. So clearly our society is shifting. Something dramatically has changed. And I mean, look at all this, Black Friday sale this, Black Friday that, right? But there's no customers. There's just nobody there, which is fascinating. Anyway, something dramatic has changed, but nonetheless, I'll give you the Black Friday. We're going to call this the Cyber Monday shill. So we're not part of the Black Friday. We're part of the Cyber Monday. And hit the like button and subscribe and ring our bell if you are enjoying the rants. Please and thank you. See, we're up to about 70 viewers now. So we do have a couple pretty good offers, I think. The dashboard itself has a ton of trading tools and signaling systems. The algo, of course, is absolutely killing it in the stock market right now. And in Bitcoin, it had a monster trade there back in October. And in November, it just gave all the profits back. But that's algo trading for you, folks. I know a lot of people are like, well, I only want to buy something that's 100% right and 100% guaranteed that works. And I guarantee you, you will never find that anywhere in any of your adventures in the markets. It just doesn't exist. I've been at this damn game for 35 years. Sometimes you have like winning streaks where you look like you're absolutely unstoppable. And of course, you want to compound your earnings through those kind of winning streaks. Sometimes you can't trade your way out of a paper bag. Right now, the algo is having a very difficult time trading Bitcoin. But it is what it is. It's just we are running the algo to take every single trade and every single signal. And actually, I'm super proud of the team for doing that. And once we have a 3-year track record of every single signal and every single trade taken, I'm taking this to Wall Street and I want to raise a fund to actually trade this thing and become like a little mini hedge fund. No reason why we can't do it now at all. And they would probably also do the same thing on the S&Ps. So there's the dashboard, but also too, I think I was showing you earlier, super stoked about all the various different tools on the site, whether, this weekly commodity trend survey itself would have made you so much money. It's not even funny. I gotta pull up the right page here. Got too many of these damn web pages. I think maybe this one. Nope, not that one. Where is the website? It's not there. Maybe it's over here. Hey, there we are. Weekly commodity trend survey. If you just use this to help you trade crypto, can you see? Is there anybody here who's been watching these videos for the past year or so over there on YouTube? I know we got some guys that have been watching these videos forever. there anybody over there that can say, well, yeah, I've been watching this for a year? You should have noticed. Now, when we do the crypto top 30, how many fives and sixes are there? Nuri, right? So can you tell the good people here, Nuri? Remember back about this time last year, wasn't this whole damn thing like just like all fives and sixes? Do you remember that? You people, any of you? It looks like a lot of you are going, yeah, I do. I watched all these. Can somebody attest to the fact that this time last November, when we pulled up the commodity trend survey, everything was like fives and sixes, which means these things are buyable. Look at that. Yes, 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 sir. I'm here for 5 years. DMAC, can you? All right. Richard says, I remember the fives. How many fives and sixes do you see now? Almost none. And in fact, we got a whole bunch of names that are actually on the exact opposite end of the spectrum. And what a shame. I don't know whether you're noticing or not, but a lot of fucking crypto sort of social media people are going absolutely apeshit crazy bullish. And this thing is telling you, actually, there's only what, one, two, three, four names in this space that are still somewhat even considerable to be a buyer of. Everything else is either, not interested, threes and fours, not interested, or twos and ones are like, hey, you better get ready for a short. So I find that fascinating. This is incredible value, and it's just so simple. Right? DMAX says we were buying when the whole screen was screaming sixes. There was, and we should go back, Chris, maybe. Nick over here says, yep, me too. Me too, what? You've been watching, or did you see how this has changed over time? I mean, the point here is that these are the kind of tools that professional fund managers use. And ironically enough, they're just going to give you the exact opposite shill to whatever you hear on social media. If social media is going apeshit bullish, this thing's going to say, well, there really isn't that much to be bullish about. And then when social media is going, oh, it's the end of the world, it's all going to zero, this thing is actually going to be like, man, you better get in there and start buying. Well, no, Andre, the way it works, and I should probably do more lectures on this going forward, is 6 is telling you that the asset is buyable, that it's actually in a good location with good momentum. So now hunt setups to actually take the trades. And yeah, there are a bunch of these names that I bought over the past year when they were spitting out fives and sixes. You should be, I mean, like I really need to clean this page up. It's such a daunting task that it's just a little bit psychologically overwhelming for me. But we actually do have, this is all the little old lady purchases. And do you think I'm going to buy a little old lady purchase? And this isn't even the full list. There's a bunch of names on here that I bought, like that UST. It's not on here. But do you think I'm going to buy any of these names if I look over on the weekly commodity trend survey and I see they're spitting out twos and threes? No way. The only reason why I buy these things is because they are at the bottom end of their trading range. And you can see, like Link here, Link our average cost $7.42. So I mean, I have already banged out a double on this. I just got to get off my fucking ass and update this page and make it look as pretty as it really should. And that's a failing on my part. But the bottom line here, these are the names. You can see where we are long. And, most of these names, there's the Rune. You can see $1.21. Is Rune anywhere near $1.21 right now? Do we have any business whatsoever coming in on the buy side on Rune? You all know the answer to that. All right. So anyway, the point of the matter here is this was supposed to be our Black Friday pitch. I don't know whether I'm doing a good pitch for this or not. And I don't even know where the hell the damn page went. But if you are interested in learning how to build and run an effective small business of trading, I think our school program is second to none. Absolutely second to none. And the good part about this is if you buy this now, the school program starts January 1st. You get access to the site for the next month or two. And there is one gentleman who did buy the school program for January. And I've literally, I spoon feed him directions, what he's supposed to do. And I've given him enough work. Hell, he'll be busy for the next year just going through our library, and I've just guided him. All right, you have to go and watch these documentaries. You have to learn how markets work. I don't know. Has anybody ever heard me talk about the Money Masters videos? So if you really want to know how crooked our system is and how corrupt the whole fucking thing is, just watch this video. This 3.5 hours. If you can watch it and understand it from beginning to end, this video will change your entire perspective of how this whole fucking society works, which is so sad because there's so few people in the world that actually tell us the truth. And this guy has taken the time to actually do a very, very good summary of how brutally, blatantly corrupt our society is. Anyway, do you really want to know the truth? Again, Brian's not going to shill you to buy some shitcoin and promises of making millions of dollars, and of which I'd have 1 million viewers, right? Hit the like buttons and all that. Hey, 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 and all that bullshit, right? What Brian's going to do is he's going to tell you the truth. So the question is, do you want to know the truth? If you want to know the truth, if you want to know how to play this game from a position of strength, if you want to know how to like literally change your life forever, you will never look at capitalism. You will never look at investing. You will never look at speculation ever the same way again. Ever. It's our privilege that we can educate you. And I'll tell you, this education program, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've never seen an education program even remotely similar to our program. All right. That's it for the shill. If you can take advantage, I would highly encourage you to do so. If you need to learn more about our deals and our offers and the programs, please pop on over to this page. I'll put it there in the YouTube chat. Also, too, I would hope you would put this in the description of the video today, which I'm sure you probably would. But give it some serious consideration if you could. All right. Shill. Okay, Chris said we had one question today, so it's not too much. His question is for me is, did I miss anything on the newsletter that I really wanted to talk to you guys about? And FYI, I'm not really seeing anything new trend-wise out of the market to get me too excited. If anything, what I have to do is figure out how to take profits. In fact, actually, what I was doing yesterday, the level 4 class is all about spread trading. And here's a really cool spread trade that one of our OGs put on. He's a really good technician, and he was hunting this trend line tag set up for a spread, and he put it on. And look how he's kicking butt now. Woohoo! David O. Anyway, we were talking about that in the level 4 program yesterday with Zach. And here's another one. I don't know whether it'll show, but anyway, this is another spread trade that we got going on here. This is Key Corp. Oh yeah, I don't have the write up on here. That's too bad. Okay, anyway, that's getting off topic. We don't want to talk stocks here today. Where is the newsletter? Is that it? There it is. All right, yeah. U.S. Thanksgiving holiday weekend. If anything, we should all be cognizant of irrational exuberance. So if you understand what that means, if anything, this stock market feels a little bit irrational exuberancy. So be forewarned. If you don't know what irrational exuberance is, Google it, spend some time, figure out what the hell I'm talking about. FOMC minutes came out this past week. And actually, I did see another, there's another gentleman on YouTube that I really like his commentary. It's not really crypto related, it's more macro, but he was pointing out, and I pointed out to our community, that rent inflation right now is running at about 7.5% annual rate. So, in the face, remember, you've heard Powell say that the whole housing issue, because they've securitized houses, now people's houses and homes are part of this inflation bullshit crap. After the Great Depression, they kicked all the banks out of the housing industry, or excuse me, out of the stock market and said, you are mortgage lenders, don't fucking speculate. And then George Bush Jr. and all those cocksucking cronies all wiggled their way back into the fucking market. So by the time the end of his presidency, houses have been completely securitized, and boom, the big fucking GFC. What a crock of shit. That was great. Fuck you from the banks. That's what it was all about. Banks lent way too much money. They were never supposed to lend that much money. They knew that they had this government agency called Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae that were going to guarantee all the paper. So they just took advantage of it, bastards. So the point of the matter is that even now, and that all this hyperinflation is still being trickled through the housing industry. And you heard Chair Powell say that housing costs and housing inflation are like a third of the entire inflation problem right now. And as I said, rent inflation right now is running at about 7.5% annual rate. So regardless of what you hear about from CPI, regardless of what you hear about these core rates, regardless about any of this economic activity that you see, there is no way in hell the Fed is going to be able to lower interest rates with housing rents at 7.5% annual inflation. Because if they start going easy on interest rates, that housing rental inflation will only go up. This is the whole point, that rates are going to have to stay higher for longer, because now you have to break the back of that housing inflation. And housing inflation takes forever to resolve. So, FOMC minutes came out and they basically said, there ain't going to be any change out of us. So the only question is, does 2024 as a political year, does that influence the US Fed? And I think it does. I've said repeatedly, though, the only way that you're going to see a break in interest rates and for us to, stop this higher for longer kind of talk is something in society has to break. I think Winnie the Pooh coming to San Francisco there a week or two ago was the Chinese, because keep in mind, that's basically tucking their tail. Remember this whole wolf diplomacy bullshit. I mean, they were supposed to be standing up to the U.S. For him to actually tuck his tail between his legs and come to the U.S. to meet with the U.S. president means a huge sign of weakness out of China right now. And I think that's where the break is going to happen, because the idiocy of this Chinese bubble and how it's spilled over into fucking China, and the idiocy of the money laundering going on in my country that's covering all this shit up, right? I would make the argument that it's starting to unwind. That whole nonsense is starting to unwind and finally break. The only issue here, though, is hell, they've kicked the can down the road for a couple of years. Could they kick the can down the road for a few more years? Like our celestial guru Cole on this site, he's basically saying the latter part of the 2020s is going to be an absolute shit show. I could very easily see that. And then also, by the way, and I thought this was fascinating, it's kind of a side piece, but if anything, it makes perfect sense. I don't know whether you're aware, but in 2029, we are literally going to have I don't know whether it's an asteroid or a comet that's actually going to come within the orbit of low orbit like telecommunication satellites. That's how close this asteroid is supposed to come to Earth. And my hunch is that into like 2027, 2028, 2029, I think ironically enough, the date it's supposed to happen is Friday, April 13th. Friday the 13th. So I get the feeling, just very much like the younger Dryas, that we're going to have an asteroid now that's going to get brighter and brighter and brighter in our night sky through the latter part of the 2020s. And I'll be surprised if this human species even, we might turn into absolute and utter chaos through that window. And he said that there's this guy, I don't know whether you ever follow him. He's an interesting character in the astronomy field. But I had posted this out. That caught my eye because how ironic, that's basically right in that window of how everything's supposed to fucking fall apart in our society around then. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a cult of like the end of the world kind of cult that starts forming all around this event. So how ironic. It all seems, as I said, I've told you guys repeatedly, get your money together. Get your islands, get your rural properties, get your chickens going, get your cows, well, maybe not cows, maybe goats for milk and stuff. Get your crops all ready and all going and stuff. And just be prepared because I have a funny feeling the latter part of this decade, all hell is going to break loose. Anyway, fun, party. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, so just wrapping this up. Also, an interesting development here that caught my eye was, of course, we're starting to now see the political pendulum swinging back. Finally, thank God. I mean, like in China here, for example, this bastard of a leader here. I mean, like you hear me constantly barking about how stressed I am about the communist dictatorship that cocksucker is trying to put into place in our country. But you're starting to finally see the populations around the world start to say, look, we've had enough of this communism. We've had enough of this fucking oligarch 1% rule where they just ram these policies down our throat and fuck us over with this hyperinflation, great reset, and all that crap. And it'll be interesting to see. Like, obviously, Argentina is a fairly big name. I mean, the guy who's actually won the presidency there, he doesn't actually control the Congress similar body in Argentina. So I don't know whether he's going to actually be able to ram through as many policy changes as he would like. But, interestingly enough, TRICTO is from the Netherlands, and he's sick and tired of the fucking brutal hypocrisy of these communists. He probably even helped a conservative leader who is actually going to try and bring a referendum about whether Netherlands should leave the EU. I wouldn't even be surprised if over the next 10, 20 years, we actually have a movement where the EU potentially could dissolve and it disappears. That's how bad things could get. I mean, these socialists have really fucked everything up. So interesting to see that the political arm, it's always a pendulum and it swings back and forth. And it's interesting to see how the conservatives sort of the anti this whole fucking Klaus Great Reset bullshit, 1% controlling the world. There's a real movement against this starting to form. And the conjecture is, does this gain inertia heading into things like the big US election coming up next year? And, there's a guy with an orange toupee who would absolutely love to become the next dictator of the United States of America. You all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so there's sort of your overall, right? I hope you guys enjoyed all that. Let's pop on over and answer. There was only like one question, so that's why I spent a lot of time ranting here today in the AMA document. So I don't think we'll spend too much time here. Then by all means, if you guys want me to look at something, I'll be more than happy to open up the floor maybe to the YouTube audience to ask questions. So All right. As you can see, we actually did start off the end of last week's video and finished off the questions on the Monday show. And actually, we even had another gentleman that came in and helped answer questions while I was talking away. So that's good. And also, too, the people that I did ask questions, I always like to get feedback from you. Did I actually answer the question? Was maybe I a little bit too curt? Sometimes I have a bit of a bitchy attitude. So my apologies for that. If it comes out, I try my best, but hell, we're all human. So anyway, moving on here. This is, as I said, only one question this week. If I understand correctly, our level one instructor was under the weather this past week. Poor guy. He's under a lot of pressure right now. So I hope Grim's feeling a little bit better now. He did cover, I think, two topics today. So you level oneers, if you have any questions, you need something that I need help with, then please, ask. I'm here to help as well. So the only question here from a veteran, it seems. Hey, Brian Bearish, China. Hey, Brian Bearish, China. Okay. I am wondering what to do going forward in terms of relocating. I am currently residing in a big city, and you mentioned in a recent video that cities are going to be hit hard, such as London. Yeah. Could you discuss from a market participant in future daily briefs about where would be good places affordable to perhaps move to, taking into account 28-29 disaster? I am millennial based in London. Goodness. Um, I think probably the most important thing in this world is to be diversified. And as long as you have wealth, even in the midst of absolute chaos, there will still be sort of the 1%. So there's always that. Um, if you say I had a few 100,000 in British pounds, a few 100,000 in US dollars, maybe you owned your house, you had maybe, I don't know, maybe 50 grand or something in like gold or silver, 100, maybe 200 grand in Bitcoin and various different senior alts. I think you could probably weather any storm. You might have to spend a hell of a lot of that to get through. And if anything, what probably ends up happening is martial law. So, what's life in Russia like right now? What's life in China like right now? My hunch is that if these Western civilization, Western democracies start falling apart, then, and I could very easily see in the United States, Mr. Orange Toupee gets reelected. There is an omen that says that Trump is technically going to be the last US president. So I could very easily see, hell, I could very easily see that asteroid actually comes and, a clown like fucking Allen sends up like a rocket to blow up the asteroid in space. But actually, what ends up happening is he just fragments it, and the whole Earth just gets showered by just an absolute torrential downpour of asteroid fragments and just completely decimates the planet. I could see a scenario like that. That wouldn't surprise me. Keep in mind that, and I was telling people this before, you want something really freaky to freak out about? And I don't know why we're ending on this note. Keep in mind, this isn't until the end of the decade. So go out there and make a fucking shit ton of money in crypto, and then we'll go buy an island and we can just forget about all this. But you ever seen the Denver airport murals? And who the hell would ever commission these images to be put in public spaces? It's baffling. It's absolutely baffling. But basically, and Who approved this? This is insanity. These are the images that they have in the Denver airport. What the fuck is this? It's like absolute chaos. So somebody's expecting something ugly coming down the pike here. And if there is this one prediction, and it was years and years and years ago when people were all obsessed about the San Andreas Fault, that most of Western United States was actually going to fall off into the ocean, and that the actual ocean shoreline was going to be the Colorado Rocky Mountains. I don't know whether there's any validity to that kind of thinking or not. But it is kind of interesting that somebody out there actually paid good money to actually have somebody actually do up all this shit. And there is some really weird, cryptic, almost like Masonic references to some of these images. I mean, they're just absolutely startling. Like you're just like, children see this stuff? I mean, what the hell? Makes no sense at all. So anyway, somebody's expecting the end of the world here. I did find it fascinating when I saw that comment about the asteroid on Friday the 13th, 2029. Set your calendars. And then, if I understand correctly, it's supposed to circle back around and come back, and it might hit the Earth again in like 2036 or something like that. So, how do you prepare for something like that? That's a damn good question. I suppose if you're in London, and this is just me talking out my ass. I don't know what the fuck to do. I mean, just if we're all dead, we're dead. If anything, to be perfectly blunt and honest with all of you, I would kind of hope that it just is a quick, sharp, we're all dead, boom, and then I can go be with JoJo. I mean, the one thing I would personally prefer to go and be with JoJo and be on the other side, because from what I understand, the other side's actually pretty nice. You just get to wrap yourself in God's arms, and it's all about love, and just sort of it's a good place to be. And actually, a lot of people that have near-death experiences, they're asked whether they want to come back to this world, and they're unequivocally like, no, 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 don't send me back. For God's sakes, don't send me back. And yet they have to come back because their job's not done here yet. So you're asking me what I would like. To be perfectly honest, I would like to be released from this hell. Like the Muslims, if I understand correctly, they believe that this is hell and that you have to earn your way out of this, right? And I hate to say it, but and probably isn't filling you with a whole bunch of love and joy, but watching the way that these bankster fucking crooks, even going back to the days of Jesus Christ, how they're just so brutally corrupt, and they just steal from other humans, and there's just no consciousness to these people at all. I saw somebody the other day say, well, I'll only talk to you if you are pro-Palestinian. Well, there are some pretty nasty characters in that Hamas that are not very friendly. If you said, hey, I'm from London, hey, how's it going? They probably chop your head off right in front of their kids, right? I mean, they're just nasty humans right across the board. So my story, I'm trying to make a positive difference in this world. I do these videos week in, week out. Been teaching this school for a fucking song and a dance. I mean, the US universities charge you like 100 fucking grand to go to a program there, and you don't even have a job coming out the backside of it. At the very least, at TRI, you take our education program, you do what we say, you'll learn how to trade, and you can manage, like you take $500, turn it into hundreds of thousands of dollars. No big deal. It's not that big of a deal. But that's Brian, because he's on this crazy bent to try and make a positive difference in this world. All right, so let's see. Back to your question. I don't know whether I can help or not, but I'm just being truthful to you. I'm not bullshitting you here. I would say, and actually, we had one gentleman on the site who did this. He used to live in London. He wanted to stay within the UK, and he moved to Wales. Cardiff, I think, was the city. And there's like nobody out there. So you could very easily, like my suggestion would for you would be, is there any way you can go and find in the heartland of the UK, like in like Wales, where there really aren't that many people? Can you find like an acre of property where maybe what you do is, over the next 5 years, let's get you all smart. Let's get you buying that acre of property. Maybe see if you can buy it where there's like a mountain or some sort of major local hill between you and your property and London, so that if a nuclear bomb does go off, at least you're not going to get hit right away. you know uh, somewhere out in the country, uh, and see if you can, maybe even just buy an RV, just as something. Boom. Okay, at least I got a place that I can sleep in. That if the shit hits the fan, we can just hop in the car and just go there, and we know that the property's there, the RV's there. Maybe have like a big cistern waiting to go. Maybe even get some solar panels and shit like that. So let's take the next few years, and you got to work your fucking ass off here and make some money. Start, and it doesn't matter where it comes from. I mean, it could be like, trading spreads on things like bank stocks. Of course, that's sacrilege in this crypto space. Or it could be on our UST. Let's see where this damn thing is now. And I don't know why the fuck this is doing this, but hey, that's 3x my money right there. So, banging out triples. Eddie, where the fuck are you? I'm sure Eddie's watching this later on going, I had to take this day off. This was the one day I had to take off, and this thing does this one day. Bastards. Point is this stuff is going to happen. Whether you participate or not, it's going to happen. So could you build a plan? $500 into say the fall of 2025, winter of 2026. You've built that portfolio up to maybe a couple $100,000. Go and buy a little, half acre, 1 acre piece of property in like rural Wales. Go and get yourself like a little camper or something like that you can just park on the property. Buy yourself a few solar panels and a half decent car battery. It doesn't even have to be lithium. I've seen guys do whole solar setups, and all it is just they have a bank of old car batteries. It works perfectly fine. And then, like I said, get a cistern and maybe reach out to Cotter on the site, and he'll teach you how to set up a whole chicken. And the property I was looking at in Portugal over the weekend, they said that they had like a full chickens, they had sheep on the property and everything. No reason why you couldn't have that all set up. And then, there should be enough anecdotal warning. And if anything, what I would suggest, and probably we should do this as a regular exercise, especially once we get to like 2027, is do you have your car all ready to go? So that if you need to hit the road, do you have like 1 week's food supply, full tank of gas, maybe a bit of cash if you have to bribe some people? Do you have your ledgers set up with Bitcoins and whatever type of cryptocurrencies you want to have on there, just in case everything just completely falls apart? Do you have like second sets of ID, all that kind of stuff? Do you have first aid kits, all that stuff ready to go in the car, so that if the shit hits the fan, you just hit the road, boom. And like once you're out on the road, a tank of gas should be able to get you to rural UK, and then just hunker down, right? I think they say that in the event of an apocalypse, you need to be able to survive for 90 days. So if you can survive, and really me personally, I'm thinking, like the property that I looked at in Portugal just over the weekend, if I could get like a backhoe or something and just dig out a trench and then just drive one of those lorry trailers into the trench, and then just bury it underneath the dirt that we dug up, then you have an instant bomb shelter, and that container should be structurally sound enough that you should be able to build out the inside to make it rather liking. And then if you have to deal with like nuclear fallout and all that kind of stuff, well, you just hunker down in your trailer shelter for 90 days, and then see what the hell the universe looks like on the other side of it 90 days later. So that's my answer to you. I don't know whether that's to your liking or not. I don't see any reason why you can't finance it with the upcoming crypto bull. So get your shit together, get your plan together, understand what gets you to invest, what gets you to take profits, start seriously shopping for a little piece of land out in the countryside and all of the ingredients. I think you're going to have to buy like one of those little Kubota backhaul kind of things. Then you're going to have to like get yourself all the solar paneling and batteries, and then the cistern for the water, and then start setting up like your own self-sufficient food supplies, things like your chickens. If you want to do goats and stuff for milk, that's not a bad idea. But that's basically how I would approach it. So there you go. Merry Christmas. And Laura Jane says, why do you think a big disaster might happen? Maybe, Laura, you need to come on the TRI site and get to know a gentleman by the name of Cole. And he will tell you all of the schmittas that are going to hit the fan come the end of this decade. It's going to be ugly. And then also, too, I don't know whether you heard me a moment ago, Laura. I don't know whether an asteroid hitting actually would happen, but I definitely know that these humans, if the potential for something like this can happen, they're going to start going crazy. And you might actually find that society starts to unwind, not because of the actual asteroid, but because of the fear of the asteroid. And as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they have like doomsday cults and all that kind of stuff start to rear their heads. Just watch this. And there's even a name for this asteroid. It's called like Armageddon asteroid, or it's got some kind of name like that. Let's see if it shows here. No, it doesn't when you do this, does it? That isn't irritating. April 13, 2029 is supposed to be when it comes. And it's actually, yeah, the asteroid's named Apophis, right? For the Egyptian word for like apocalypse. So, yeah, and actually, like Nick said, now I remember I was a broker through all that. In the year 2000, everybody was convinced that all the airplanes were all just going to mysteriously just fall out of the sky. That they were just going to stop. Just the engines, and instantly, 1201 January 1st, the plane just falls right out of the sky because of Y2K. So, I mean, it's absolutely incredible the way that these humans act. They're nuts. But what I think is going to happen here, like Y2K was ethereal. It was sort of like there was no direct evidence that something was actually going to happen. It was all just pure conjecture. But if we have a star that all of a sudden appears in the night sky, and every day it gets a little brighter, it gets a little brighter, it gets a little brighter, it's supposed to come to as close as within an orbiting satellite. Like these fucking Elon Musk's what is star or whatever the fuck those things are for his internet, right? So it's going to be associated. Oh, and by the way, Adam, Jupiter Saturn opposition is 2030. Coincidence, eh? Andre currently says 19,000 miles out. All right. So if you have an object that is day by day by day getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter in the sky. Now, don't you think that that's going to cause the humans to start getting a little bit absolutely nuts? So that's what I think is going to happen. It might not even be anything to do with the actual asteroid itself, but I could see the humans go a little bit fucking crazy through that. I mean, did you all not watch how stupid these humans went when we got the sniffles there a little bit? Hmm? Oh fuck, I gotta go. Okay. Well, there you go, folks. I did answer the question. It's not really a trading question, but hey, I'll just give you my 2 cents. So I would strongly suggest you go and price some cheap property out in rural UK, just as and just just in case, right? And have that car ready to go. And of course, when that's like 5 6 years from now, so you know damn well that we're all going to be talking lots about this kind of shit as we get closer and closer to that date on the site. And I'm sure we'll probably have podcasts about it and the whole damn thing. So, all right. Hope you enjoyed the rants. Hope you enjoyed the colorful commentary. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring our bell, and all that kind of fun stuff. Great to see all of you guys are all saying best wishes for you and Liam on the road. I really appreciate that. That definitely makes me a lot happier and fills me with joy and anticipation of seeing my boy. So thank you very much for that. We'll see, of course, everybody on the site. Slow and steady wins the race. I mean, the market's just grinding its way higher here. I mean, I certainly don't have a buy signal. You know where the buy was. Don't really have any sell signals here. And this to me looks like we are climbing the wall of worry. Keep an eye on the alts. If these things do start emming out and we start actually breaking down, which I don't really see on any of the big high flyers, but interesting how this RNDR right up against a trend line resistance. You can see the beginnings of M's starting to come in. If these M's do start to come in, then you'll know that we're probably done. Don't see it yet, but interesting on Ethereum. Notice how we couldn't break there. If these M's do come in, then we'll have lots to talk about here in the coming sessions about, when and where should corrections take us. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't take no wooden nickels. And the only job that you guys have right now is I want to see this UST at parity by time I get back from my trip with Liam today. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you can take advantage of the Black Friday deals, I would highly encourage you to do so. The prices of these products are not going to be this cheap going forward. Just understand that. Slow and steady wins the race. All the best, and bye for now.